Hi everybody, this is Ray McClure, and I am excited about doing this video because I want to share some things with you that I know will help you and make you a better basketball official. Now, there's lots of websites, lots of materials you can read where you're told things like that. The only thing I have to share with you or even to sell you is the best book that's ever been written on the topic of basketball officiating. And I can brag about it, even though I wrote it. These are the words of the most knowledgeable person I've ever known, who has trained me, because we traveled on the road a lot together. We spent a lot of time together. Mr. Peter Webb from the state of Maine. His background is in education. He's been the commissioner for basketball up in the state of Maine. And many say he is indeed the most knowledgeable person on the planet when it comes to tying education-based athletics into the curriculum of schools. And the reason that schools have sports and dance and drama and music, etc. But this is the book that we wrote, and it's been out now for several almost 2 years now, and it's called Performance Without Compromise. Now, I brag about this book because it will help you. There's lots of publications, but there's never been anything like this. This book contains the words that changed my life in officiating, and I want that to happen for you. I would like for the leaders of basketball officials around the country to see this book, learn of this book. And there's a quote in here of the book that I put in here when talking about Peter Webb. Oswald Chambers is often quoted as he spoke of influence. The people who have influenced us are those who have stood unconsciously for the right thing. My parents were that way, and they're walking on streets of gold these days. But Peter Webb is still with us and doing great. Survived the stroke that he had, or the aneurysm, and I've been up to Maine to visit with him now, and it just is very special time that I was able to share up there just recently. But when I think of the things that I've learned from Peter Webb, I said we've got to put this in the book. And we actually sit down and over a period of a few years created this book. And it's the best training I can give anyone. I do it all the time in my 5-star basketball referee course that I teach. But I'm asked often, why did we write the book? The reason I put this together is because accuracy is not debatable. When you think about this game, it's 131 years old, and we're still debating the accuracy of block, charge, continuous motion, and traveling. Something wrong with that picture, and it all starts with training. We're getting people out on the basketball courts and putting them in charge of a game that has rules, and they don't know the rules. And I'm just a voice in the wilderness crying out to somebody to help us fix this. This book is a call for commitment for basketball officials and leaders of officials to let's get our act together. Let's get things in the right sequence. I mean, we can't do things like ready, shoot, aim. We've got to get people trained to put them on the basketball court. And we've been doing a pretty good job of that over the last 20 years with the material that's in this book. Now, I want you to buy the book. I want you to read the book. There's hundreds and hundreds of you already have it. And it's $19.95. You can order it directly from me, from my email address, and then you can just drop some money in PayPal or whatever. But I want you to have the book. This book will change your life. My concern has been the fact that so many officials think that it's an accurate ruling because they made it that way. And that's just not the case. We don't even need the word interpretation anymore because the rules book is clearly written. The case book is clearly written. The officials' manuals for the National Federation and IABO, the one that's amazing, by the way, are clearly written. Now, my title in our board in Georgia is the interpreter. That's the trainer. We don't need interpreters. We need people that can read and learn the rules of the rules book. And I've made over 300 videos. I've really got about 500 at my YouTube channel. And there's lots of officiating on there that I came on kind of strong on a lot of them, and I probably shouldn't have, but if I hurt somebody's feelings in the past, I wouldn't. If I knew that, I wouldn't be able to sleep well. That's not my intent. What we have been trying over the last 4 decades is not changing. The only thing that's making things better is the fact that in the college game they're using the monitor, and officials don't want to keep seeing that they're incorrect on the court. They want to be able to know that they're getting things right. The things that I learned and was taught in my first half of my 35 years of officiating, 25 of that was in college officiating, 20 of that 25 was Division I officiating. And the things I have heard, the things I have heard in pre-games, and the things I have been taught, I've written them down in this book. But much of what I was taught, I cannot pass on to anyone in good conscience. Therefore, the book was written. Too much of what I was taught in all these camps that I attended. And I tell people all the time, I really believe I attended more camps after age 40 than any other person in the history of basketball. Because I started kind of late in life. But most of the stuff that I was taught I was never taught to trust the rules. Trust your partner. Yeah, let's do that. Trust the rules. Well, you know, people interpret them differently. There's the problem. We don't need their interpretation. We don't need their feel for the game. We don't need their call selection. We need accuracy. Accuracy is the only found in the rules book. And you know, I talk to supervisors a lot of times, and they're saying things like, I say, how can he miss that? And they say, well, that's Joe's judgment. What? Joe's judgment? It is his judgment, but his judgment is wrong. When you actually know the rules, we'll all be officiating that the same way. I mean, we may still miss some, but it shouldn't be because we don't know the rule. I'm not guessing at any of this. I know for a fact, because I've experienced it, I've quizzed. In fact, I've got an old 12-question quiz right here that I give at our classes and stuff. I gave that to 39 Division I officials several years ago. Not one of them got them all right. In fact, not one of them, well, I don't know that fact, but I know that they didn't get very many of them right. They're not about lights going out and the bird flying through and the basketball hit. None of that. It's real basketball plays that happen all the time. Now, I'm urging you to buy into the fact that you don't know what you don't know. And Peter Webb said that all the time on the Rules Committee meeting for the National Federation. And they would always ask him, what's his take on this particular discussion? And after he finished speaking, most of the people around the table said things like, well, I've never thought of it like that. He's got a good point. That will open your eyes, and all of that is in this book. It will open your eyes. We want to see how many people we can make to become rules experts, because integrity is not the issue. Integrity is there. That shirt we wear, that says integrity. We don't care who wins. We don't care who loses. But we should care if our rulings are accurate or inaccurate. They can't go either way. They can only be accurate if they align themselves with the rules book, with the wording in the rules book. We want basketball officials who look good on the court. We know that for a fact. But that is not the priority. That can no longer be the priority. We want them to have good physical fitness. You know, run like a deer. They want to be able to have good eyesight. We want to teach them to stand in the right place. We call that mechanics. Why stand in the right place? Why have good eyesight if you don't know what you're looking for? And there's too much of that going on. I was just looking through this first chapter, not really the chapter, but the beginning of the book, the introduction, and I just have things in here. I really want you to read it. Let me give you a quick title here, and then I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna create a series of videos about some of the chapters in here without reading you the book. But at the same time, I want you to know that the material in here will change your life, your officiating life. And hopefully, with a lot of the scriptures that I have in here, it will change your life, spiritual life, the way it, in a positive direction. The name of the book is Performance Without Compromise. Let's all learn the rules. Let's use the mechanic system that's required of you in your state or your conference. Let's become what basketball expects of us. And the last thing I'll mention to you is this word philosophy. Nothing we officials do on the basketball court is ever to be philosophical. Let that sink in. That's taught at the college level. Well, our philosophy is this. And in the ABA, where we officiate, we get some high-profile college officials, and they say, well, my thing is this. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the game. And everywhere in this book that you see the words "the game" written, you can't see it here, but you can see there. They're all caps, bold. The game comes first. Stop caring if they foul. Stop caring if they travel. Stop caring if the coach gets a technical. Stop caring. Just officiate. We're not managers of games. We're not to control the game. We don't play call. The point guards call the plays. We are basketball officials, and there's something very, very special about being one of these titles. Very small percentage of people can do what we do. Some of you, let me say it another way. Basketball officials, most of us are not as good as we think we are, as we're developing. But I'm telling you right now, you read this book, it will change your life. It will change your officiating life. And the book can be ordered at Amazon.com. Find it. Performance Without Compromise. You can go to my website and watch a 45-second promo video that the publisher put together for us. RayTheRef.com. If you want to order it directly from me, send me an email. RayTheRef@gmail.com. I've got some books. I get them from the publisher, and we're sending them out all the time. But it's going too slow for me, not for the sales. I'll be in the hole financially on this a long time. But I want the word out there. I want people to read this book and hear the words of Peter Webb as I heard them, and I know you'll be glad you did. Communicate with me anytime, and thank you so much for watching.